When certain owners dream about a boat, they mainly think about making a big splash with an extraordinary boat that will make heads turn to look at it. Which is why this Sacs Strider 15 could be a big hit. It's as big as an island, but unlike an island, it moves, and rather swiftly too. Navigating with this maxi dinghy is definitely not a way to pass unnoticed, but that's not the reason why a person should choose it. It was built by designing a new hull, and Sacs has good experience in this field. Also gained indirectly from competitions. If you compare this craft with a yacht, well, it comes out on top in all the dynamic performances. Less roll at the anchor, less pitch during navigation, greater stability due to its rubber tubes, and extremely low center of gravity. They've avoided the roll bar, which would disfigure its lines, and to shade the cockpit, they invented a power-operated self-supporting sunshade, which can be brought into position without effort. Let's also take a look at whether it's satisfying to the ladies as well. First off, it's not vulgar in the least. Some yards bank on ostentatious or even extravagant shapes or colours in order to stir interest. But here, the purity of the lines and the colour combination give it a sober elegance. There just aren't any boats with these huge sun mattresses, with a cockpit this roomy, with a swim platform this big. Below deck, it's incredible, because outside is a walk around, and you don't expect to find 2 meters of height in the cabin. The compartmentation can be modified, of course. The finishing of the interiors is on a high quality level, with exotic materials like zebra wood and stylish furnishing accessories. Like all Sacs models, also the Strider 15 bears the signature of the yard's engineers and of Christian Grande Design Works, which has chosen to preserve a strong family feeling with the range's most recent models. If you like this model, but it's too big, you can choose another. The Strider 13, or the Strider 11 for example, which are a little smaller but very similar. The deckhouse is the style element that stands out the most. The helm station is ergonomic in order to enable the driver to always steer the boat with maximum attention and convenience. The anatomical form of the seats and the perfect arrangement of the controls and the instruments are the result of a scrupulously studied design. Look at what an instrument panel. Not even a Rolls-Royce has one this big. I made the comparison with a car because it reminds me a lot of the dashboard of a luxurious sedan. And in fact, it's upholstered leather, and there are even air conditioning vents. You can drive in the company of 3 other people, and this too I find is an interesting and rare feature. In the cockpit, a fully equipped galley unit is installed with a sink, burners, and a fridge for drinks or lunches on board. I like the stitching on the mattresses, another detail that recalls the upholstery on classy cars. And the handrails aren't simply steel. They're also covered with leather to offer an even firmer grip. And it makes them more elegant as well. To achieve a sporty performance, Sacs engineers used surface drives. The propellers throw up a rooster tail that is visible from very far away, but they have extremely low drag and high efficiency. Watch this start. 1, 2, 3, we're planing. 1, 2, and we're already at 25 knots. Another 2 seconds and we're at 30 knots. Who said there's no fast start with surface drives? Okay, acceleration isn't about getting to the buoy first. We're not in a race here. But having a very quick, very reactive dynamic control can always help us avoid another boat, cross a wake better, or change direction at the last second when you need to take on a wave. Control is immediate because the propellers are steerable. These lively reactions make us understand how important it is to have a light boat like this one, like the Sacs Strider 15. Light, but also robust, because it's completely made by vacuum resin infusion, both the hull and the deck. And then they use multi-axle fabrics, that is, woven in such a way as to give maximum strength to the structure. The covers and hatches are all made the same way, and the T-top is extremely light as well, so as not to raise the boat's center of gravity. A little thrust. We'll adjust the surface-piercing propellers and bring them to the right height. We'll check the speedometer, which has to rise as the drive level gradually increases. If it starts going down, then it's best to ease off in order to find the maximum efficiency. 2,600 revs per minute, a cruising speed for these Cummins QSG 8.3-litre 600 horsepower engines, and a speed of 38 knots, which I repeat is the cruising speed. Look at how quick the turn is. Look at how it heels, but also how it stays on course incredibly well. Well, with surface drives, you definitely get an agility that you certainly wouldn't get with a shaft drive. But we're still not at top speed. Now is the time for some careful use of the fingers on the buttons that regulate the trim inclination. A little higher, a little higher, a little lower. We already have a nice rooster tail behind us. We're getting there. "42, 43, 44 knots. Just imagine, at this speed we could get from here, the Gulf of La Spezia, to Corsica in an hour and a half. In short, you can be completely relaxed about going for a swim even 90 miles away, because you'll be back the same day. And maybe this is one of the purposes of a boat like this one. This boat has a fantastic turn, but I want to teach you a trick. When we're in a turn, let's think of what happens to stern drives. One finds itself higher and one lower. But we can correct with the trim to have the maximum thrust, the best direction, by lowering the external drive and raising the internal one. This way, both propellers are at surface level and we obtain maximum efficiency. It's a refinement, there's no need to use it in pleasure boating. But if one day you happen to find yourself racing... All in all, this is a fantastic boat. Compared to other models of equal length, it doesn't even cost a lot. Well, maybe that's not exactly true, but it's still a fantastic boat.